Creative babble.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
So I have this friend. His name is Joe Rocco. Joe is a real estate agent in Arkansas, and some of you might recognize his name. He's Anthony Christopher's brother from the LaDonna series. Joe calls me one day about a client whose house he's trying to sell. She's a 72-year-old woman that we're going to call Rhonda. Rhonda's divorced, she's a retired nurse, she has grown kids, and a stack of medical bills that would make anyone on a limited income worried. So selling her house wouldn't normally be a problem, except that Joe couldn't get himself to do it. It's because he felt that selling her house was the wrong thing to do. The longer he spent with her, the more he realized that someone else already had plans with the money that she was going to make off of that house. So he called me up asking me what I think he should do.
So I think she's stuck in a scam or in like this scammer, whoever this person is, who's got her in a few different ways.
And once Joe started telling me about Rhonda and her predicament, I understood exactly why he couldn't just make commission and walk away. You see, Rhonda is actively getting scammed in real time. The scam might sound familiar to you, but trust me, you've never heard it quite like this because you're going to witness this scam as it happens. And you might start yelling at your phone or whatever device you're listening to this right now. It's one of the most frustrating and maddening stories that I've ever covered. What seems to be pretty obvious to everyone involved is completely oblivious to Rhonda. There's a grant that doesn't exist, a FedEx truck that catches on fire, a cook who poisons the delivery guy, a fiancé on an oil rig in Saudi Arabia who gets kidnapped and held for ransom. I know, that sounds ridiculous, but stick with me because you might have elderly parents that are on their iPad all day, and you don't know exactly what they're doing or who they're talking to, so stick around, pay attention to this one. I'm Javier Leiva, and this is Pretend. Stories about real people pretending to be someone else. All right, so you probably heard me talk about Quince once or twice on this podcast, and if you looked inside my closet, you'll see that Quince has completely taken over. I have 4 linen shirts, a bunch of really, really soft tees that I wear almost every single day. I have slacks, my whole closet. This is the best I've ever looked. This is the summer of Javier. And Quince has more than just men's clothing. They have women's, home, baby, and kids, all kinds of stuff. And don't get me started on that $50 cashmere sweater. I mean, where are you going to get a cashmere sweater for $50? And those linen shirts that I have, they start at $34. What's great about Quince is that you're getting really quality products for not that much money. In fact, Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/pretendpod for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/pretendpod for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pretendpod. So I saw this video the other day, and a guy invented a little tiny symbol, a real one that clips right onto your car air vent. So instead of air drumming on your steering wheel at a red light, you can actually hit a symbol too. And my first thought was, that is so dumb. And my second thought was, I want one. And my third thought was, why didn't I think of that? Because that's the thing, right? We all have these great ideas, and it's never the idea that stops us. It's the wall, the website, the payment stuff, the boring parts that make you go, maybe I'll do this later. And that's the whole reason why Shopify exists. You bring the idea, and you already handled the hard part on day one. The website, no coding. You pick up a template, their AI helps you out, and the thing in your head is just there, looking just like you pitched it. You bring the idea, and they've already handled the hard part on day one. Then somebody actually buys it, and the checkout is already handled, optimized right out of the gate. And the folks who come back, they buy in a single click. You don't have to lift a finger. And when you get stuck, and you will, there's a built-in assistant called Sidekick. The questions that you're too embarrassed to ask, they got you covered. So go ahead, check out shopify.com/pretend if you're curious. All you need is an idea, and Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/pretend. Again, start your free trial at shopify.com/pretend. Joe Rockwell called me one day out of the blue. He genuinely sounded concerned. I had no idea what he was going to tell me, but I figured I should record.
I think the first way is he identified her on Facebook. Shortly after that, he realized he told her some kind of grant money for people with disabilities, older people who are disabled, that they can qualify for some money.
Like Joe said, someone she knew sent Rhonda a message on Facebook suggesting that she should invest in a fund for elderly people with disabilities. It seemed pretty straightforward. You put some money into the account, and they release a huge grant of money to you.
MA says, a few times that the money's going to come to you via FedEx or come to you this way, and that because it's such a large sum of money that they need bodyguards, and you have to pay for the bodyguards to come there. Well, they happened to land somewhere in Rogers. They were coming to see her. They went to a restaurant. I guess one of the cooks knew who they were, and he poisoned them and killed them. And I was like, okay, that's very far-fetched. Right now.
No, this is crazy. You're never going to believe this, but that grant for seniors turned out to be a scam. Rhonda ended up losing $150,000. $150,000. $150,000 that she didn't even have. But that's not the end of the story, because Joe now suspects that the scammers are coming back for more, with a whole new scam, a romance scam, and Rhonda is falling for it. You see, Rhonda met a man online who calls himself James, and she's fallen in love with him, even though they've never met and they never video called. And it doesn't matter how many times my friend Joe tells her to be careful, it's a scam. She doesn't want to believe.
But she met this guy, and all of a sudden, he started sending money. He can't access his funds because he's in Saudi Arabia, not near a bank on an oil well or whatever. And so he's up there working. He's trying to milk her for money. He's asking her for all this stuff. He needs to have this bill paid, that bill paid. And all of a sudden, he's supposed to come home. And they find out that these guys are like, hey, they got families. We can hold them as hostages. We can get some more money, quote unquote, hostages. But basically saying, hey, I've been kidnapped. I need funds. If you don't pay me this money, then they're going to basically kill me. They're beating every day. I need money to be coming back home and all this.
So now do you understand the situation that Joe found himself in? If he sells her house, she will now have $170,000 to give this new scammer, James.
I think there's one person who's kind of rooted himself into her life as well as her neighbor's life, and he just keeps taking money from them.
That's just wild, man. It is wild that she doesn't see how crazy this is.
I know. And if you met this lady, she is super sweet. She had both her knees replaced. She's got a fake shoulder. She had a hip replacement. This lady's not exactly peak physical fitness here, right?
Oh, wow. And it's crazy that in her mind, these are two different things.
Yeah. Every week it's more money, more funds, more this, more that. And my concern is we sell her house. Her house is paid off, right? She has this huge sum of cash now. What are you going to do with that money? And all of a sudden he needs $100,000 for something, you know?
Joe wanted me to talk to Rhonda, not just for a potential story, but to see if I could find out who's scamming her. And maybe, just maybe, talk some sense into her. So he set up a 3-way call.
Okay. Are you there?
Uh-huh.
Javier, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. How's it going?
Okay. So I wanted to introduce you to Javier. Javier is a good friend of mine. He's one of the guys I was telling you, he's kind of like an investigator. And I know that Javier is pretty much one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So I wanted to kind of introduce Javier. Feel free to do what you got to do and hang out.
It's so nice to meet you. I would love to dig in and try to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can help you, but I know it started out like with Facebook and it was like a grant. That's how it was presented. The guy that was the main one that I spoke to his name was Edward Smog. And he said he was an agent with, I've got it all written down, but he was presenting this as a big help for seniors and stuff like that. If you had disabilities or to help with pay your bills off and your medical expenses and stuff like that. That's how he presented it. And you had to put in like, I think 500 if you wanted maybe 50,000. And then 1,000 for 100,000. And then it went on up to millions, you know. Anyway, that's how it all kind of started.
So, how did Rhonda come up with the $150,000 to give these guys? It's not like she had that kind of cash lying around.
That was a lot of money. Was that your retirement?
My mother had left me money. And then I did get 2 or 3 loans.
Yeah.
And even ended getting a loan on my vehicle that was paid for.
To meet Edward Smog's endless demands, she had to scrape together every penny that she could find, securing 2 separate personal loans for about $5,000 each. And when that wasn't enough, in an act of pure desperation, she cashed out all her CDs and completely drained her bank accounts. Once her actual savings were gone, she turned to plastic. She ended up maxing out both her Discover and her Amazon credit cards.
I mean, I feel stupid. I know there's no way for me to get any of the money back.
And when he bled her dry, he moved on to her friends.
He had gotten into my phone and got all my contacts, and then he was calling my contacts, trying to act like they were me. He's a sharp cookie.
That Edward Smog is a smart cookie. But that doesn't make Rhonda dumb. To me, she's still pretty sharp. Since our initial call, I've texted with her almost every single day. She's very smart. And to me, it doesn't appear like she has any dementia. When I ask her a question, she comes back with receipts. It seems like she's fully with it, except for this one little tiny blind spot. Her online fiancé, James. She fully recognizes that Edward Smog is a scammer, and she was duped out of $150,000. There's no question about that. But this new romance scam with James, her fiancé who works in the oil rigs in Saudi Arabia, that's a whole different story. She refuses to believe that she's actively being scammed.
Joe was telling me that there was somebody from Saudi Arabia or something like that. Is that a different story or a different man?
Yeah, that's a different story.
Oh. So tell me about that.
My fiance got kidnapped for a month and a half and was beat to death. Him and his friend were like beat all the time. They were trying to get money out of him, more than they'd already gotten out of him. It's just a mess. But I've got to go right now.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
Thank you.
Is it okay if we can set up some time to talk to each other maybe next week?
Yeah.
And this will become a pattern. Rhonda has no issues talking about being scammed by Edward Smog, but anytime I bring up James, her fiancé, you know, the guy who works in the oil fields in Saudi Arabia, she immediately shuts down.
I'll call you next week. All right.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
After this initial call with Rhonda, I felt the urgency. Next week might be too late, honestly. I have to act fast before this lady gets completely wiped out of her last remaining cash. As promised, I call Rhonda a few days later. I wanted to know how Edward Smog, you know, the first scammer, convinced her to part with her money. Like Rhonda explained earlier, the investment scam was simple. Invest $1,000 and in return, she will be delivered $100,000 in hard, cold cash. And I know it doesn't make sense, but I guess some people fall for this stuff.
FedEx was going to be their big deliverer of the cash. If you want, you got the choice between cash, a check to your bank, or whatever, you know. I wanted mine delivered to the bank, wired to the bank.
Rhonda says that when the scammers did attempt to send funds electronically, the transaction was flagged and blocked. So they had no choice but to deliver the money in cash.
And so it always showed the FedEx people with a big box of cash.
I've seen the picture Edward Smog sent her. It's a stack of $100 bills wrapped in saran wrap with an official barcode sticker on it.
You know, he'd show that as a picture and say, more or less, this is your money, da-da-da-da-da. But you've got to pay these fees.
Rhonda paid the fees and the money was supposedly on the way. But before it could get there, the FedEx truck caught on fire. The scammers spun a wild story that the local fire department had rescued the cash before the truck burned up. But the firefighters were now holding that money for a $6,000 ransom. I know.
Had to pay a ransom before the money because they had to put guards there to make sure that the fire department didn't steal the money.
After fabricating these wild emergencies like the burning truck, the scammers hit Rhonda with a massive $10,000 fee for a new method of delivery and a legal affidavit, whatever the hell that means. They somehow convinced her to pay for this specialized transport and this fake legal paperwork in order to finally receive her cash. Eventually, Edward Smog told Rhonda that a new delivery crew had already made its way to her hometown of Rogers, Arkansas. The 3 FedEx drivers stopped at a local restaurant to eat and get a room for the night.
And that's when the man in the restaurant, the cook, poisoned the FedEx guys. They had found out somehow, crooks said that they were carrying a lot of money and everything. And so the cook poisoned them. One died, one almost died, and I guess the other one recovered okay, but there was 3 of them. Of course, they got all the money, you know. That's how that went. And so it just went on and on and on and on. And so for them to think, for me to supposedly think they were good guys and everything, they said that, well, they had decided to replace my money. And then they told me also not to worry about the money that I have to pay on fees and stuff, that I'd get all that back, you know, and everything.
Right off the bat, Rhonda got to business. She started rattling off evidence that she had against the people who ripped her off.
I can send you a couple of screenshots if they'll help you.
Yeah.
So you can see for yourself. There is one lady that he had me to send, let's see, $8,500 to.
And when you say he, you mean who? This
Smog.
Smog, okay.
Edward Smog. They had me to send it to Beaverton, Oregon, 9700.
And do you suspect that that person's not real?
I don't know about that, but I've got her account number for Wells Fargo Bank, if you want it.
So now I have an account and routing numbers from a Wells Fargo bank in Oregon. This is huge because it could point to a person, a real person who opened up the account. That person, Cardi Benson, is most likely a money mule. Remember, a money mule is just a middleman, an everyday person who opens up a legitimate bank account used to receive and shuffle and launder all the stolen money. So someone with a real ID had to walk into that bank and open an account. My friends in the fraud world told me that it doesn't necessarily have to be a money mule. It could be a fake ID. They're very convincing nowadays. And I asked Rhonda, I said, have you ever talked to Wells Fargo? And she said no. The most she's ever done is file a report with her local police department. Rhonda also pointed me to Edward Smog's Facebook account. And this was a huge breakthrough because that screenshot revealed a phone number and an email address, which ultimately led to West Africa. Yep, you guessed it. Nigerian scammers.
What are all those
phone numbers from Lagos, Nigeria? Like these were logins?
I think it's that guy that took over my Facebook account.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looking closely at the account screenshots that Rhonda provided, we also found the smoking gun, a massive digital paper trail of unauthorized logins coming straight out of Lagos, Nigeria. For months, an unknown iPhone 14 Pro Max had been quietly accessing her account, with dozens of logins spanning from April to July.
The same way when they got into my phone and everything, they got my contacts and they started contacted my friends. So then she called me and she says, well, you called me and da, 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 da. I said, I didn't call you. She says, well, yeah, you did. Da, da, da.
Was it your voice that called them?
Was it my voice? No. They were saying that it was that I had a sore throat, that I didn't sound quite right.
So they were suspicious right away just because it didn't sound like you?
No, they weren't suspicious. They thought it was me.
Wow.
And she was like so thrilled. She says, well, thank you for thinking of me and da, 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 da. You know, and I'm like, I didn't. You know, I said, and you don't want any part of this.
There's a story that I found about a victim just like Rhonda who was criminally charged and sent to prison after being manipulated into perpetuating these kinds of scams. Yeah, these scammers turned victims like Rhonda into money mules. They convinced them to open up accounts and funnel money for other scams. According to a federal case in Colorado, a woman named Lori Kimball was initially the victim of an oil rig scam just like Rhonda, and she was targeted on a dating app by a scammer using the alias Joe Hart, which claimed to be living and working on an offshore rig. Sounds familiar, right? After the scammer drained Lori's accounts with these fake financial emergencies, he convinced her to act as a money mule. Lori ended up illegally shuffling $3.5 million from 15 other romance scam victims into digital wallets controlled by the Nigerian scammers, which ultimately resulted in her going to federal prison. Luckily, by the time Rhonda's friends were contacted on Facebook, Rhonda had already realized that she was being scammed, and she warned her friends not to go through with the bogus investment scam. Have you ever talked to Edward Smog?
Yes, I've talked to him on his private number.
And you said that he did not sound like foreign at all?
No.
That's interesting.
He would have made a good car salesman.
Yeah. And what was he like when you talked to him?
Oh, he acted like your best friend, and he rumbled off all these Bible scriptures and all this bunch of stuff, and like he wanted to help people, and you know what I mean. But he still calls me.
He still calls you even today?
Yes, except I got him blocked now. He's always wanting money. He always wants money.
I called every number that she had for Edward Smog, but all of them were disconnected. I even did a web search to see if anyone else was scammed by Smog, and I found one gentleman who posted a warning about the scam. So I called him up, but he seemed really weary of me and did not want to talk. So I took notes last time we talked, and I know it was really brief, but the story is still a little jumbled up in my head, and I was wondering maybe you could help me straighten all the details out. So there's two incidents, right? There's the incident with Edward Smog, and then there's also an unrelated incident with your fiance, right? That you had to, there was like some sort of...
Yeah, but that's his problem. He was kidnapped in Saudi Arabia.
But you helped him pay though, right?
All I did was put in some, a little money for internet.
Oh, really?
It wasn't enough to matter.
But Rhonda told me, if any of my story helps someone from being scammed, great. Just change my name. I'm done. I've done all I can do to help you, but I'm done. I don't want to be upset all the time. If you could get my $150,000 back, that would be different. But you can't, and I can't. I've tried, and I've just got to get past this and pay those bills for another 3 years. I get it. So, on her behalf, I filed a report with the FBI and the SEC. In the meantime, a new scammer reached out to Rhonda. He went by the name of Daniel Smith. and I started messaging with this new scammer through one of my sock puppet accounts. I was posing as Rhonda, and at first he started engaging with me, but then he didn't take the bait. I guess scammers are supposed to contact you and not the other way around. These scammers know that Rhonda is an easy target. I mean, she fell for it the first time, so why not the second time? That's why they keep coming back to her. First Edward Smog, then her fiance James, and now Daniel Smith. If only she would give me her fiance's number. If he's real, I'd like to know. A simple video call would do the trick, right? But here's the frustrating thing about Rhonda. When it comes to Edward Smog, she'd give me all of it, freely, right? No questions asked. But every single time I steered the conversation towards James, her fiance, she would go quiet or change the subject. And that's the part that gets me, because I'm trying to help her, but she won't give me what I need. But when Edward Smog tells her to stuff cash in a magazine and mail it, she doesn't hesitate. Ugh. So I stopped pushing. I'd just ask about Smog, let her talk a little bit, build a little trust, and then every now and then I would slip one question about James in sideways. Sometimes it worked, but most of the time she felt it coming and pushed back. Because somewhere in there, Rhonda knows. Part of her has to know. During our text exchanges, she started telling me about her neighbor's boyfriend, who also worked at an oil rig, who also got kidnapped, who also needed money. It's the same story, just a few doors down, and I asked her about this. Rhonda explains that she and James had been texting for about 6 months when James mentioned that he had a friend. Rhonda showed the picture of the friend to her neighbor, Gloria, and they decided to start texting too. According to Rhonda, the relationship between the neighbor and the new oil rig worker became very fast and hot, just within a week.
What's ironic is she's selling her house. I met her because she's on her home, but her neighbor 2 doors down is also selling her house, and they both have the same Somali or Saudi Arabia boyfriend.
Not the same guy, technically, just his buddy from the oil rig. Both Rhonda and Gloria started giving these oil rig dudes money.
And here's the crazy thing. Her neighbor broke up with her boyfriend or whatever at the time during the kidnapping because she thought it was fake. So what does she do? She goes right back to her old boyfriend, who's also from Saudi Arabia.
Rhonda tells me that James and her neighbor's boyfriend were kidnapped from the oil rigs and held for a month and a half, beaten every day. They told the ladies that people were getting shot all around them for not being able to come up with a ransom.
There's this circle there. There's this touch point where this one guy, I think, is creating all these personas and all these stories, and he just got them fully enveloped in this.
So Joe and I decided to call the neighbor Gloria.
Gloria, Javier, can y'all hear me?
Hey, Gloria, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Javier.
Javier's a good friend of mine. He's helped out with some other cases, and I was hoping I can maybe connect you with Javier, and he can kind of help solve who these people are. So she was talking about how, I guess, her boyfriend got kidnapped over...
I'm not worried about that. I just want to get my house sold.
I understand.
Yes, Gloria is also trying to sell her house. This whole thing is a mess. I told Gloria that I was trying to help Rhonda with her situation.
She was telling me about, everything that happened. And then at one point, the guy that she's talking to from Saudi Arabia, I believe his name is James, that at one point that maybe you started talking to a friend of his and then they got in trouble somehow. And she was telling me...
I know, but I just let it go. I wasn't going to worry about it. If he's going to pay me back, fine. If he's not, fine. And I'm expecting a neighbor here to come and talk to me in a few minutes.
Oh yeah, this won't take very long. I just wanted to kind of get a little bit more background. And did
I don't know. I don't know him that well. And
no. That's okay. I mean, it's okay if you don't know certain things. That's not a problem. I guess my question was, you said you were out of money and you don't think that he'll pay you back. How much money did you have to give him?
I spent $20,000. $20,000, give or take.
I asked her if she could shed some light on Rhonda's situation, but I got the same kind of resistance.
No, I don't know, hon. I don't know nothing about her problem. Let me talk to you later.
Hey, one more question, and I'm done because I just have one more question. Around what time of what year, what month did this happen? I'm trying to help her track down these people, and I just need a date if you don't mind.
I don't know, sir. I don't remember.
Was it about a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah, a year ago.
A year ago? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
Let
appreciate
me
it.
talk to this person. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tori. Okay, just us, Javier. That was interesting. I asked her if it was okay if I merged the call, and she said, yeah, absolutely no problem. But I knew she had gotten scammed. I never had a dollar amount until today. And I remember that she told me she refinanced her car to help pay this stuff off.
Wow. $20,000, man. Jeez. The story here, too, is like about old people and how frustrating they are, man. It's like, she tells me this crazy story, and I'm like, are you hearing yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so sad.
And, you know, they're smart women. I mean, Gloria worked for years, was a nurse. Like, they have their wits about them, right? And I think it'd be different if you're like, oh, they're senile, they have dementia, they can't remember. No, I mean, they're very smart, intelligent women. Like, these are women who are professionals, right?
Yeah.
And I just can't help but thinking, like, my own grandmother, like, potentially getting scammed or something like that happening. I don't know. It's a rough one.
Yeah, it's really sad.
After weeks of talking with Rhonda, wearing her down about her boyfriend James, I felt like I was starting to get through to her. She no longer referred to James as her fiancé. When I asked her if she still talks to him, she said yes. I told her, I just worry because it just doesn't sound like this is a real story. Finding gold, oil rigs, kidnapping, and then you add on what happened to you and all the money that you lost. This is a script that scammers run word for word on thousands of people. I know this is hard to hear, but when that next emergency comes, and there will be one, call your son, call me, a friend, anyone before any money moves. That's all I'm asking. She responded, I'll let you know when I meet him, supposedly in September. I agreed to a point. I hope he is who I think he is. She then messaged, I have a little reserve. It does me good to hear another person's opinion every once in a while. As I was texting Rhonda, Joe Rocco texted me and told me that Rhonda wants to call off the sale of the house for now.
You know, it sounds like when she texted you and said that she's not going to sell the house just yet, at first my reaction was hopeful, you know, like, oh, good, we got through to her, you know. But then part of me is thinking like, oh man, this guy sent me this podcast that won't stop asking questions.
Rhonda is still planning on meeting James in person for the first time in September. Joe is hopeful that she will keep her house off the market, at least until after she goes to meet him and discovers that he's not real.
September's supposed to be when she sees him in person. I said, well, why sell now? Why not wait till October 1st? If you don't need to sell now, why sell now? Like, your house is fully paid off. But I was like, there's no rush. Like, what's worse that happens if you wait 2 months? Yeah, because originally the plan was she's going to sell the house, she's going to get an apartment, he's going to move in with her, and then I think her words were they're going to buy a bigger house together.
This is a classic Nigerian scam. We know this because it fits the pattern perfectly. The Federal Trade Commission says that the most common fake occupation given by romance scammers is that of someone in the military or an offshore oil rig.
His name is David J. Armstrong. His wife was in a car accident. I mean, he had it down verbatim, you know, the whole story.
This is Sharon, a victim talking to Fox 59 about falling for a very similar romance scam. Her online boyfriend, David Armstrong, built up trust with Sharon, and he told her that he was working on an oil rig off the coast of England, and he was attracted to her.
He would email me or text me a nice long love letter every night. Say, are you in bed, darling? I hope you're comfortable. I hope you sleep well. Sent me a rose once. You know, I mean, I'm just going deeper and deeper and deeper into this. And he got me. He sure did.
What's the total amount of money you sent?
Close to 150.
150,000.
$150,000. That's the exact amount that Rhonda lost.
My heart told me he really did love me because I kept saying, how do you know you love me? You haven't even met me. I can tell by the way you talk. I can tell by your pictures. And I'm like, I just fell for it.
There's a Nigerian man named Ronayiran Olagar who ran almost this exact same playbook.
I was born and raised in Nigeria. I usually pick my victims from the ages of 38 to maybe 62, 65. Single women. I look for women that are single, that have kids, and they need someone to take care of them, to love them.
And when the women wanted to actually chat on the phone with her new boyfriend, the scammer said that he perfected an American accent. Then there's Terry. Terry met an oil rig worker named William on a dating app. He claimed he was a welder for ExxonMobil, and immediately they fell in love. Just like James, there was a crisis and then he needed money.
They would not allow him to leave the platform to go to the mainland because they were assuming he was going to run off with their money. Well, then he said he found a captain that was willing to come and get him in the night and take him to the mainland. But that captain wanted $4,000. I went to Wells Fargo here in my town and deposited it in that person's bank account.
I sent Rhonda all these news stories, and she told me that she did watch the videos, and if James is scamming her, she already knows that nothing can be done. I begged her. I said, just don't give him any money, okay? She replied, I don't have any money. But she does have money. A lot of money. $170,000 in equity. And if she sells that house, poof, it's gone. I know this episode was frustrating to listen to, and trust me, I was frustrated working on it. But some of you listening, this is your reality. Our once wise parents, the people who taught us everything, who warned us when there was danger, are now the ones who need protecting. Just like we check what our kids are searching online, maybe we should do the same for our parents. Set up transaction alerts over a certain amount, low balances, any unusual activities. Review bank statements together. Encourage your parents to let unknown numbers go straight to voicemail. Legitimate callers will leave a message. Scammers don't. Consider the power of attorney for finances. And I'll have more resources in the show notes. All right, that's it for today's episode. I am working on a couple of single episodes before my next big series, because once I dive into that big series, I don't know when I will get back to the random scam stories. But I do want to offer you a little hint of my next series. So I'm going to play you a clip of the person who I interviewed. And if you want to know who it is, go on YouTube, go on TikTok or Instagram at PretendPod. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe so that you won't miss my video. And I will reveal my special guest. Here's a clip.
Is it always going to be this way? Is there going to be something that stops it? And there was no end in sight at that time. And so there was that part of me that just felt so desperate to just end it.
All right, if you want to know, head on over to YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok at PretendPod. Make sure to follow while you're there. Thank you so much for listening. Today's episode was written by me, Javier Leiva. It was edited by the talented Punit Chinoy with the Podcast Pundits. And our theme music is by Joe Basile with thechicken.net. That's all I got for today. Talk to you soon.
Creative Babble.